Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Google Pixel 6 Pro and see how this particular phone holds up in 2024, in the later part of this year. Now, the thing I would definitely tell you about this type of phone is that a device like this I think is still very much worth buying for a lot of people. I think this is one of those devices that still has a lot of capability, and if you are going to go through and pick up a phone, I genuinely like having phones like this. I think these things are very solid options. Now, if you are able to go and pick up a newer phone, that might be a better idea, but I think this thing still is a very good device when it comes down to it. Now, with the Pixel 6 Pro in the exterior, you're getting a 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED display. And this is, once again, a very decent display. It doesn't get the brightest, but it's still a 120Hz display, and that curved panel definitely looks very, very beautiful when you are getting a phone like this, which is genuinely something that I really do appreciate about these types of phones. Now you are basically on top of that getting another really, really good thing about this phone too, which is its build quality. USB Type-C on the bottom, solid glass back, triple camera setup. These are the types of phones that you look at that you still probably will enjoy feeling, because it just feels like a very, very expensive device. And that is something that I genuinely do appreciate about these types of phones. So I do think this in and of itself is a very important thing to keep in mind. Now, on top of that, you're getting a phone that's going to be giving you a pretty decent camera, 4K at 60, on the back and 4K at 30 on the front. It's not the best. Again, this phone came out in 2021, and when compared to the Pixel 9s, this thing really isn't that great, but still, I think the build quality of this phone gives the impression that it is a way better phone than it probably feels like, to be honest. On top of those things, you're getting a pretty good phone from a software performing perspective. Like, this phone is going to be one of those devices that ends up being supported with software for quite a bit of time. Right, this thing is going to be supported for a long period of time, and I do think this in and of itself is another very important thing to keep in mind. Like, you can go through, pick up this type of device and get a phone that is going to be here for several more years, and I think this in and of itself, it's a pretty important thing to kind of keep in mind here. So from a software performance perspective, it's still here, but it's probably not going to be here for that much longer, and that is a little bit of a situation that you're going to be running into when it comes down to these Pixels, these older ones, because yes, they were supported for quite a bit of time a couple of years ago, but they may not be supported that much longer anymore. So that is in and of itself, again, one of those small little issues that you're going to run into when it comes down to it. From a performance perspective, especially when it compares to something like a Google Pixel 9 or something like that, this phone is giving you that Tensor G1 chipset inside with 10 gigabytes of RAM. So when you are going through and you are getting a phone like this that's not going to be giving you like the most amount of RAM of all time, you do have to kind of keep in mind that this will be one of those types of phones that's going to be probably, not the best performing device. In a lot of areas, this phone might seem pretty decent because it's such a cheap phone for the price, like it's like less than $200. And from like I said, a build quality standpoint, you could make that argument, but it might just not be worth it because it's just not going to be holding up that well when it comes down to that performance side, right? Like, it's going to be a little bit older. If you're doing a lot of like gaming, this phone is not going to be doing that well. And when compared to a phone like the Google Pixel, 9s, these things aren't really going to be doing that good of a job. So you just kind of have to keep that in mind when you're going through and getting these types of devices. So what I will tell you is that I love the Google Pixel 6 Pro. I really enjoyed my time with this phone when I first bought it. I just don't really think it's necessarily worth buying anymore, and I do think there are probably better devices to go and pick up rather than this thing nowadays. So from that side, that kind of covers it up for the most part. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.